Can I just say something? And you need to stick with me on this, okay? Hear me out. Sometimes the saddest people in the world are also the same people who would do anything for others because they know what it's like to go through it. But then when they do that, they break their own hearts even more because nobody ever does that for them. And the constant pouring your heart out for other people while they give you so little back, it's sad, and it perpetuates this whole cycle. It's because why? You're being too nice. It's like Faust and his short story of bargaining with the devil. When you make a bargain with the devil, that's a pact where you trade something important to you, like your personal morals or some kind of like material benefit or your soul. So in your case, it might just be validation from other people or something else. But the term itself refers to the legend of Faust, who agrees to surrender his soul to the devil after a certain period of time. And these Faustian bargains, in their nature, it's tragic or it's self-defeating for the person who makes them, because what's surrendered is ultimately a lot more valuable than what they get back. So hi everyone, I'm May and welcome to my channel. So I talk about self-improvement, and today is more so of a reflection of what it means to remove the mask from our own faces and be the person that we are always meant to be, even if it means putting down the nice person facade and being a so-called bitch sometimes. I'm going to teach you how to stop caring about validation from other people and instead learn how to pour the action into yourself. So if this resonates with you, I always appreciate a like and subscribe. And yeah, don't get me wrong, there is a big difference between just being nice and being genuinely sweet and kind, a well-mannered person. There's a difference. The difference is when you're kind, you are being genuine with your actions and your intentions, and you do good things because you want to. Whereas when you're nice to everyone, you might be dishonest with yourself and with other people, and you only do these things because you want to please the other person and you want to maybe get something back, like getting them to like you back or to give you some kind of affirmation or validation. Like for example, Mr. Beast, he gives away money to people in need, but he does it with a camera so that he can go viral. And this is versus an actual selfless, kind person who gives money to people who actually need it because they have more than enough and they just want to give and help someone. And they don't want anything in return. So it's important to be aware of where you're actually acting from, whether it's validation or compassion. And people who are so-called nice, they tend to put other people ahead of themselves because they constantly seek approval from other people. And do you see what I mean when it says that it actually makes them look fake instead of what they intended to be? Because when you're nice to literally everybody, no matter what they did to you or how they treated you, and by the way, nobody can like everyone. That's just a fact. And what happens is, in other people's eyes, that can actually make you look like you're not being genuine. I mean, do you actually like people who pretend to like everyone, even if you know they don't actually like everyone? And I know that it might not be somebody's intention, but that's how it comes across. When I was younger, I did everything I could to make sure that everyone thought that I was the greatest. Oh, May is so great. She's so nice. She's this and that. I changed so much about myself. As I got older, after I healed myself, and I always used to go out of the way to make sure that I did what people wanted, that people approved us so that they will like me back. And I wanted to be the person who people wanted me to be. And I cared a lot about how I was being perceived in the minds of everyone else. I never actually perceived myself on my own. And then I realized I finally had enough of it, I want to be real to myself and to others. And so people would say to me these things like, oh, May, well, that just makes you a good person. That makes you good-natured because you put other people first. It's a good thing. And, I was talking to this with my friend, and when I heard that, I paused. And honestly, at that point, my head started to hurt. And I felt weak and I felt tired and even a little numb. And I felt kind of like a strange lucidity amongst being disoriented. And I continued on and I said, well, I don't know about how good I look to these people and I don't care anymore. And instead, like I care about how they would experience me. So in that sense, it was always about me and not anybody else. And my friend who was listening to me, then she like interrupted me and she said, everything you do from your perspective is going to involve you no matter what. But I knew that wasn't true at the time. Like, and I didn't really care about me either. That was the worst part. It was like a weird paradox of like narcissism, even though I was never intending to be like that. But at the same time, I abandoned myself. So it was confusing. It didn't make sense to me. And I didn't want it at all. I didn't want any of that. I was so desperate to be seen and liked a certain way that I was misguided. And I changed and reduced who I was at every turn so I can appease people. And, whether it's my father, my mother, friends, family, teachers, boyfriends, bosses, strangers, it's not me being a good or bad person. It's just me not being much of a person at all. And at that point, my friend said to me, she said, you did what you could. You did what you knew how to do at the time. And that's how anyone can do. One of the most important things we can do in our life is to try and understand and learn more about ourselves. And that's very hard. It's very hard. But with the right tools and the right effort and being guided the right way, we can get a little bit closer to some answers. And I was worried about being seen as someone who's perfect and someone who's successful and abundant, who's happy and always fun to be around and very smart and competent and did all the right things in the right way. I feel like I am those things in my heart, but I felt very crippled in the way that I was expressing myself with the outside world. And now I'm fine with being known as the bitch. Whatever. I don't care anymore what people think of me. My family raised me to be very strong, independent, and confident in myself. So they told me that the world is full of closeted monsters and that, you don't have your own back, then who will? And now I'm firm in the belief that I will stand up for myself and my beliefs. And I don't stay silent just to make people comfortable or appease people anymore. If I don't like something, I will say it. Literally. If a guy at the gym tries to grab my equipment, I will say, hey, excuse me, I'm still using that. In real life, I'm not afraid to call out men who either make me or another woman uncomfortable. It's a bit scary because I live in New York City and men, especially on the streets, they can be really unpredictable with conflict. You don't know what they might have in their pocket. You don't know what they're carrying. You don't know how they're going to react to you. And there's so many stories of women being harmed by men in public places all the time, like life-altering events that happen to them because they stood up for themselves or they get themselves in conflict. But even if they don't, women who don't stand up for themselves, they get hurt by men anyway. So to me, I might as well try. And typically in my experience, they don't expect it from me, so they tend to back off. And I've interrupted situations before where a woman said, help me with her body language or with her eyes. Like at the bar, for example. And I will go in and be like, hey, Stacey, how have you been? Long time no see. I need to tell you something, and drag her away from the guy. I've even kicked out people who crossed the line with me, and I've been written up at jobs before for not taking abuse. I've been called a bitch by men numerous times in my life, but women have told me that they wish they had my guts. If having nothing but absolute love and self-respect for myself makes me a bitch, then so be it, because I never go to bed now wishing that I had stood up for something that I believed in. Or that wishing that I had defended the woman next to me who was too scared to say something. I would never go to bed thinking, what if, or I should have done that, or imagining some kind of scenario where if I had acted differently, defended myself, that things would turn out a different way. And I'm proud of the woman that I grew up to be. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm never scared or something or intimidated, especially if it's someone who's twice my size. But I can tell you this, like not a single time I've ever regretted being called that bitch. And so I make this ongoing commitment with myself to deal with it when it happens. And what happens is when you are a people pleaser, you are being ingenuine and dishonest, sometimes with other people, but mostly with yourself. And it makes things very awkward sometimes, and you become boring because you're constantly agreeing with what other people are saying. And You're not speaking your mind for the simple fear of what would happen. Maybe you might offend them, maybe not. And by being nice, like you're not letting people see your value in yourself, and you're making yourself more vulnerable actually to being exploited and abused. And you need to realize that you can't just please everyone. It's impossible, and that's okay. It's completely okay. And that's just how the world works. And I've been nice for so long, it's done nothing for me. So for as long as you continue to stay a people pleaser, you will continue to be stuck in a shell, and you will continue to have these negative thoughts about yourself. And sometimes you get more anxiety when that happens. And the key is to just not give an F about what other people think. And that you go ahead and you do the things that you are meant to do, and you stop seeking validation. And I know it's so much easier said than done, okay? But you have to realize that other people don't care much about what you do. And to put it more simply, the world doesn't give an F about you. It sounds harsh, but because of that, why should you worry so much? Think about back in your own daily life, and how much do you notice and care about what other people do? Exactly. Not that much. So that's precisely how other people will view you as well. So people focus on themselves too much to care about what other people are doing, So realize this, and then that way you won't be so anxious anymore. And honestly, when you realize that you're completely free to do whatever you want at any given point, you can go so much further. And so many people are nice for the wrong reasons. So you should start changing from this point onwards if that's you. Be your own true self. Don't be dishonest. And watch your anxiety dissipate when that happens. Because being dishonest with yourself is so disrespectful to you. When you start being honest with yourself, that's how you build self-validation. That's how you build your own confidence to do things with honest intentions and with integrity, because you're doing it because you want to, not because you think you'll make someone else like you. Don't seek happiness from other people, and start taking control of your lives, and don't let other people control it, right? I promise you, when you stop being so nice all the time, which by the way, doesn't mean the same as stop being kind to people or stop being compassionate, that you will live a tremendously better life. Also remember that to stop being nice doesn't mean that you should just become a jerk. No, that's not what I mean. Sure, you will without a doubt offend someone because you can't please everyone, but that doesn't mean that you transition to becoming an ass, right? Where you constantly are punching down and putting people down for the wrong reasons because you think it'll make you look better and feel better. I think that the more appropriate way to deal with this is to be more assertive when you need to. Whereas, a nice person would just take it and let themselves be taken advantage of because they don't want to cause conflict. And I remember my first job, and it was exciting because I just graduated and I had a job in New York City and it was fun. I tried to make as good of an impression as possible on my new colleagues as I could. And at first, everything was great, terrific. And I was happy to help people. And so unknowingly, I took on the burden of high expectations on my shoulders. And then one time later on, I refused to do my colleague a favor because I was busy or something. It was inconvenient for me. And she got offended because I shattered her expectations of me happily and gladly doing her the favor. And I was expected to do something that other people would not have agreed to. And then from that point on, I realized that I was just doing things just so I can not offend people, or that people will like me. Or that they would think that I'm special. So here's the pitfall with being special, okay? Yes, you're unique. Yes, you're beautiful. Yes, you should stay true to yourself and all of that. I love that for you. But you are not that special because, and you need to drill this in your head. It's not saying that you're not, good or whatever. It's that when you are special and people tell you, wow, you are so special, they expect you to do things for them, that you will do the special things for them. And when you stop being special, or when you stop doing the special things for them, they will say you are not special anymore. They put you back on the shelf. Be very careful with that, with the way that people might be manipulating you without even knowing. It's the same thing for calling someone gifted. That's why there's so many burnouts. because they were gifted at some point. That's the thing. We are all gifted with something, but when you make someone feel special or a certain way, it can be manipulative. And I realized that I had been a victim of this my entire life. So now I try so hard to be true with myself and with other people. Even if it means sometimes I have to be harsh, people deserve to have the truth. And if I'm being asked a favor and I ask myself a question, like, would I still want to help them if they would have never found out that it was me doing it? That helps me sometimes when I ask myself that question. And I still struggle sometimes, but I am way better now than I was. And then here's the thing, like, if you're true to yourself, you will offend someone. Whether it's someone who doesn't like that you're true to yourself or you're not doing the thing for them anymore, you will come across people who just won't like you, and you will never be able to please everybody, no matter how hard you try, even if you are super nice. But don't let that stop you for doing what you're meant to do or from doing what you want because other people won't like it. Stop pleasing people because the world and society does not reward people pleasers. Just stop caring about what others think about you and don't obtain your happiness by seeking validation from others, because if this is the way that you gain happiness, then you will never truly be happy. Stop being that fake, agreeable, and boring nice person, and you will gain so much respect from yourself, from other people around you, because you are real. And this way, you will build stronger relationships. There is no better time to start doing this than right now. Realizing it is half the work done. And so now you guys are well on your way. Anyway, guys, I just felt like I had to get that out there, and I had felt like a victim for so long, and it's diminished my social skills, and I truly hope that this will help many of the people out there seeing this and help them build back up like I did. Even if it's just one person, I'll be happy that I made a positive impact on someone. And yeah, I wish you guys all of the best. And thank you guys so much for watching my video. If this helped you at all, please give me a like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.